Thanks so much for pressing play. Got a question for you. What if you accidentally slept with your best friend's husband? Yeah, I know you would never do anything like that, but I know you know someone who knows someone that's a tad bit on the scandalous side. But imagine that just for that one night you threw caution to the wind and everything spiraled out of control after that. Well, that's the dilemma facing my character Felice in my new novel, What's Done in the Dark. I want to give you a quick taste of it, and just to set it up for you, Felice has had an argument with her workaholic husband, Greg, and she heads to the local hotel bar to kind of drown her sorrows. Well, there she bumps into her best friend's husband, who has also had an argument with his wife and is in the hotel bar as well. Now, a few martinis later, they end up here. My brain and my body were in a tug of war. My brain said to go left toward the front door, but my body went right toward the elevator. Before I knew it, I was standing outside room 527, fresh tears streaming down my face. I knew that I needed to take my butt home, but I needed this more. I tried everything to talk to Greg, therapy, which he refused to go to, talking, books, everything. And still he wouldn't listen. He couldn't accept that my needs weren't being met, and he was actually insulted that I would insinuate that he wasn't doing his manly duties. I needed love. I needed loving. I took a deep breath, then told myself if Greg had loved me right, I wouldn't be here about to do wrong. In my head, I knew that I didn't need to be here, that I was crossing into dangerous territory. But in my heart, I was looking forward to going inside, anticipating what the night held. I dipped the key in the lock and then walked in to see Stephen sitting nervously on the edge of the bed. I wasn't sure if you was going to come, he said. My gaze shifted downward. Me either. Believe it or not, I really have been faithful, he said. Me too. But he stepped closer. A glaze actually covered his eyes. I've never felt so alone. Me either. Felice, I don't. I held up my hands to stop him. I know, I whispered. He stepped closer, and I could feel the heat from his body. His breathing was labored, and I could tell he was having an inner battle, just like me. He inched closer, and like a skillful game of chess, we each waited on the other to move until finally unbridled passion made our decision for us. He kissed me with a ferociousness I hadn't felt in years. Everything inside me wanted to protest, stop him before he went too far. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. And the minute I felt his tongue, my body reacted. When our tongues did a slow dance, I shivered. When he kissed my neck, I cried. Finally, I stopped my internal war, and Stephen took me to the height of ecstasy right there against the wall in room 527. And before I could catch my breath, he was guiding me toward the bed, where he did it again and again. Slow tears slid down my cheeks. I wanted to believe they were guilty tears, but I knew better. I inhaled his scent and snuggled closer. After a few minutes, I said, "You know this can never happen again." He nodded. I know. Trust me, I wanted it to happen, but we both know it was wrong. We both were in need, so we found comfort in one another's arms. Don't worry. There will be no secret rendezvous, no clandestine meetings. Tomorrow, we'll pretend this never happened. Tomorrow, we'll go back to our normal, boring, miserable lives. Tomorrow, it'll be different. The next morning, I eased out of bed and went to retrieve my purse. I dug out my phone and looked at it. Greg had called 12 times, sent 24 more apologetic texts. Seeing the texts made me feel incredibly guilty. The reality was I cheated on my husband, something I'd never done before. But making matters worse, I cheated with my best friend's husband. Stephen was right. This would never happen again. I made my way into the shower and closed my eyes as the pellets of water hit my face. 15 minutes later, I was fresh, dressed, all cried out, and ready to face the one that got away. "Hey, Stephen," I said, easing into the bed. "I need to get going." I ran my hands on the bottom of his feet. "You probably should, too." When he didn't stir, I pulled the covers back and ran my fingers down his naked back. It was then that I felt how cold his body was. "Stephen," I said, turning him over. "Stephen!" His arm fell on the side of the bed and his head flopped to the side. "Oh my God, Stephen!" I felt for a pulse, nothing. I leaned in to see if he was breathing, still nothing. Oh no, I cried, glancing around the room. Maybe someone had come in while I was in the shower, but there was no signs of forced entry or foul play. He was dead. Stephen was really dead. So should she call for help or clean up and get the heck out of Dodge and pretend she was never there as she helps her best friend plan the funeral? Well, what would you do? What does Felice do? Well, you'll have to order the book to find out. No, order the book. Like, no, for real, like right now. I'll wait.
Will come to the light.
Did you order yet?